Okay, let's continue where we stopped yesterday. So let me create a new branch and then we'll go. Okay, let's create a new branch. MK September 2. Okay. Okay, let's continue where we stopped yesterday. So we finished the registration page and we were able to register the user. And once the user is registered, we can send the user back to uh, to the page which we want, the main landing page of our app. Right now, we don't have the landing page of our app. Right now, I'll not do anything. But next time when I have another thing, I will add that. So only one thing is remaining here, which I want to put the set loading. So before we submit it, we will make the set loading as true. That is, loading is started, and then when we get the sign up, we will make the loading as false. And if we get sometime error, then we need to put the loading here also in the error part. And when the error loading is there, we can show this activity indicator. Let me run this app again. Okay, let's run this app again. One second, let me disable the notification and then okay, let me scan it. Okay, I'm loading the app. Okay, this is registration page. Let's try to put it again. Email. Let's put user 3. Password. Let's put the password. Name. User 3. So you will see the loading icon for some time and then we got the registration. Here is a success message coming here. If I do it again, I'm getting the error. Okay, so this is about the home registration part. Let's also put everything in the scroll view so that we can scroll if we want. Okay, we have the scroll view. Let's wrap this view, the scroll view. Okay. Okay. So this one was the registration page. That's completed. Now we'll do the login part. So let's create one more component called as login. And I'll copy the register part in the login and rename some stuff. So login, I need only the username and password for the login. I don't need name and email. Then I'll put username and password. We don't need email. Okay, this part I'll come back again. So this is for the username. I don't need to take the email. I don't need to take the name. And instead of register, I will say login. And I'll call this login in the home page. Right now, I'll put all the components here in home page. Later on, when we have the real app, we will have the navigation, and navigation will redirect, will keep separate. Okay, so first one is login and then register. Let's try to give some spacing. And let's make this little bold. Okay, so let's copy this to the registered part also. And here we will rename it to login. Okay, so this is the login, this is the registered part. Okay, let's try to complete the registration. So most of the things will be same, only the submission part will be different for the login part. So we'll check how to do the login. So we have in the endless submit we have, I'll delete this part. So I'll create a user like constant user equal to use the login, we will use the login functionality of the ParseServer, that is await parse.user.login, and I will give the email username and password. Username is state.username and password is state.password. And I will check the console what user is coming. I'll make this loading false. Let's try. Okay, so I'll put my email user3, my username is user3, and I'll put my password. I'll put a login. So you will see login is successful because I get the user details. I get user3 object, I get the object. That means user is successfully logged in. If somehow my password is wrong, for example, I'll get error. So invalid username and email, password. So everything looks same, just we will use this part for the login. So just try to do this one. I'll give you 1 minute. I'll give you in the Telegram this code login part and try to do it in 1 minute, and then we'll go further. And any questions on the login? It's similar to registration. Okay, just do it. Okay, let's go to next step. So we did this one. Let's uh, let's try to do the forgot password. Okay, and I don't like this color of the button, so let me remove the color. Default color is good, so I'll remove the button color. I don't like this color. Okay, now let me create another file, forgot.js. So this will be the forgot password. I'll copy the registration part again in the forgot password, rename some of the stuff. So forgot we only need the email. We don't need a password, username, and other things. So I'll only take the email. We don't need username. We don't need password and name. And this part I'll change later. Let me first fix other thing. So if you forgot password, you put the email and you ask for reset my password. So here you will say reset my password. Let's call this here in the home component import forgot, and whatever I am doing this is equally same good for the React application. Only thing the view part, the scroll part will change, but otherwise everything is same. So in the web part we have div, here we have view, scroll view, and every other thing. So most of the things are same in React world. Okay, I called forgot. Let me call the forgot at the beginning. Okay, can I scroll also? So once I put email, I will click reset button. I will get, I'll send the email part, right? So let's change the main part of sending this part. So here I will just say, so I will just say here, await parse.user.request password reset. Okay, so I'll say request password reset, and I will pass the email. Email is state.email, and then I don't have user for this one. I'll just email will be sent with this statement, and then I can show some message also. So to show the message, I can also update the error part with some my message. Though it is success message, but I am putting in the error. Email sent successfully. If there is any uh, unsuccessful response, then it will go here. So here, when we reach here, that means it is successful. Okay, so let's put it user 3 at mkgalaxy.com. Email sent successfully. What if I put user which is not available? Let's see. So though we put incorrect email, which is the user is not there, then also I'm getting the email successful, but this user will not get the email. Previous user will get the email because that is in the our database. Okay, so I'm giving you this forgot password. Just do it and let me know in 1 minute. I posted in the Telegram. Okay, so let's continue now. So we finished the forgot password login and register. Let's try to log out the user also. So let's write down the functionality of logout. So let me create one more file of logout. So I'll copy the forgot one and then I'll rename it. So here I will only create one button where I'll say logout, and I will put the error and loading will be there. Anyhow, I don't need this one. Here I'll say logout, and here will be logout. I don't need the state variable. I don't need any state variable because just we will log out whoever is logged in. I don't need change one. Okay, so let me rename it this to logout. So when logout is clicked, we need to only change this part, and this part will be we have to call the parse function of the logout. That is await parse dot user dot. You can check in document what is the function for each thing. I'll just put logout. So I'll just call the logout, and here I'll say logged out successfully. Okay, now let's try this one by putting in the home page. Yeah, I'll call the logout. So how will I know whether user is logged out or not? So after logout, I can write down some statement to see whether user is logged in or not. That I'll show you in a minute. Let me first log out. Let's restart the app. Okay, forget about this. So here saying, okay, we should remove this error part. So logged out successfully. It's saying, let's try to see how will I know whether user is logged out. So there is a function. If you go in the ParseServer on the website in the React world, you can check the username, and username you can get with the parse.user.current. Okay, this is the one which we use generally in the React world, but this is the React Native. In the React Native, we don't have the synchronous call, so we have to use the async function of the current, and we have to use await. And if this one is there, I will put it this before logout also, and I will put this after logout also, and we'll see what is coming. So after u2, do console.log, u2 is u2, and same thing I'll do it here. u1 is u1. So you will see what thing is coming here and then here. So since we logged out already, let me restart the app. Let me restart it. So since we logged out, so we have to log in again to see this effect. So in this React Native, we have to use this function to see who is the logged in user. In React world, we only use the current part, and here we have to use current async. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay. Now first we'll log in again. So you will see, I can see the user 2 is logged in. I see the information here in my console.log. Now, if I log out, you will see what's happening. So if I log out, U1, you will see the current user who is logged in, but U2 is null. That means he is logged out. We don't get this information. Let's try to log in it again. So you see the logout is also working fine. Let me give you this logout one. So you can do it in your project, and we'll continue in 1 minute. Okay, so let's continue now. So we completed the login, logout part, forgot password, registration. Now we'll see how to insert into the table and retrieve the data from the table. So let's create a new file called as example. I'll name it as example.js. Here I will show you how to insert data in the database and how to retrieve the data from the database. So let's say my table name is notes. So I will put my table name here. You can put anywhere. This is just I create a variable notes. So my table name is notes. Okay, so here I will create one form, and then I will insert it into the database. So let's copy the registration page. It's easy for me to copy. Okay, I copied the registration one. I'll name it as example. There are a lot of things already there. I'll save the time. Okay, so here let's say I put one text box. I will only use one text box, and I will name it as title. Enter the title, and I will use only one field. We can put multiple fields, but for this demonstration, I will only show one field. So let's put only the type. We can put n number of fields here. So this change will remain as it is. And here I will check the title is there. I say missing title. I don't need to check here. And this code will change. I will show you what we will put it. Okay, so we have this basic structure loaded. Here I will say add data. So we'll be adding the data to the database. Okay, so let's try to add this in the home page. Import example, and I'll call example here. Okay, so this is my example. Let me rename the button. Okay, as soon as I put this title, click the submit button, I want data to enter in the table. Okay, that's what I want. So here I will write my code to add the data in the ended submit function. So how we will do it? So we already did in the React thing. So first thing is I will also check if the user is logged in. I don't want unknown person to enter the data. So first I will check the whether user is logged in or not. So I will take the user data. I'll say user equal to, and I already showed you how to get the user data. We have to say parse.user.current async. And if this user is coming, that means user is logged in. Otherwise, he is not logged in. So if we say if user is not logged in, then give the error, please log in first. Okay, so we will give this error. Now to insert the data into database, we'll say constant post equal to, this all is written in the document, but I'm writing it again. Parse.object.extend, and I'll give the table name. So what table name I want to use? Nodes. I can put anything. This is the table name which I want to use it. But when you will work on the project, you just, if you are using my ParseServer, then just put your name before. I will put MK nodes. Okay. So, but for sake of simplicity, just put nodes here, because nodes you can use the live query. If you put your name, you won't be able to use live query. So just put nodes. It's okay. Everybody use nodes. It's fine if we put multiple data here. So you can use nodes, but when you create your server, ParseServer, there you have to mention in the server that you are using this for live query also. So when you create the server, in the server you have to mention option live query, then put the nodes there also, so that you can use the live query functionality. So you can use your server, but you can also put nodes in my server if you want to use. Okay, so let's put the nodes one. Then I will say, see, this is a capital P, this is a small p. I have to create another variable with small p, and I'll say new post. I create a new post from this. And here I will say post dot set title equal to state dot title. So whatever title we have, this title, we will state it in the post one. I will also set the user who is doing it, and this will be the user which I created here. Then I will create the ACL. For ACL, I'll say constant ACL equal to new parse dot ACL. This is common syntax, and I'll say ACL dot set public read access true. Everyone can read it. ACL dot set write access. I'll give the current user who is logged in to true, that he only can rewrite it, delete it, update it. The one who is the user who is logged in. So I'll say set write access to user. I'll make public write access as false, that public cannot write it. Only the user who is logged in, he can write it. I will say post dot set ACL, post dot set ACL, and I'll pass the ACL. ACL is this variable. I'm putting it here. Then I'll say await dot post. Sorry, await post dot save. So whatever the post I'm setting it here, it will be saved to the server, and then I will do console.log to see what is happening. And once it is posted, I want to keep the title. I will empty the title. So to empty the title, I will call the handle change again. I'll pass the title and I'll say empty value. Okay, let's try to do this one now. First I'll log out and see if I'm getting that variable. Okay, so I'll put something, I'll submit it. It's saying please log in first because user is not logged in. Now I'll log in. Okay, I'm successfully logged in. Now I'll try it again. So it is entered, and I see the post here. It is ID of this one, created on this date, title is this one, who created is this one, and let's go here and see. So you see notes table is created and title is here. Okay, let's add a few more title. Okay, let's add some fruit names, mango, apple. I can give message also, success message. Uh, Record added successfully. Okay, so let's try now. Chiku to record edit successfully. I'll remove the error part. I'll just say, then I'll say grapes. Okay, I'm able to submit it successfully and I'm able to see it successfully here on the table. Okay, so let's try to do this one. I'll give you in the Telegram, and in 1 minute we'll continue. Okay, let's go further now. So we added a record in the database. Now we want to see the record from the database. Okay, so we'll get the record and we will display the record here in the database, in the screen. So let's write down that code. Let me create another one. No, let's do it in the example only, and I will try to fetch the records kind of thing. Or we can put in the new file. That's better. Okay, let's create another file. Example view.js. We will use effect only in the get call when we retrieve the data. Okay, in the post one, we don't need the use effect, but when we try to get the record, then we need the use effect. Okay, so I'll copy the example to the example view. Now in this example view, I will just try to get the data from the server and I will display it here. Okay, so let's try to clean up something. I don't need the handle change part. I don't need the state variables. I don't need the submit part here because we only want to retrieve the data and display it. So here I will say view data. I don't need text input, but I need the error part because sometimes if I try to retrieve and there is error, I want to show the error part. I want to show the loading part also. I don't need button. Okay, and also I need the flat list to display the data. So I'll add the flat list here. Let's put example view first in the home page and then we'll continue. Okay, let's put example view data. If I put flat list here, okay, we'll put the flat list at appropriate time and the time will come. Let's try to get the data first, kind of thing. So to get the data from the server, I need the query. So I will create one function which will query the table. So maybe I say get query. It will only construct the query. So here we can put lot of things in the query. Okay, so instead of query, I will put the get data only. Okay, I will get the data from the ParseServer, and this will be async call. So I want to get the data from the server. So here I will pass some parameters which I will use to get the data. And one of the parameter is page number. So since we'll be using pagination, so I have to pass the page number 0, 1, 2, like that. We are not doing pagination today, but I will be passing this pagination, but next lecture we'll complete the pagination part. And how many records max you want at one time. Here I will create the syntax to get the data from the ParseServer. I'll say const query equal to new parse.query and I'll put the table name. Table name is nodes. Then I'll say query.descending. I'll put descending created at. So the new records will come at the top and the old records will go down. Query.skip. So skip will be from which page you want to display the data. So it will be page into maximum. So query.limit, how many records you want per page? I'll put maximum. So maximum 10 records per page. So I'll put max. Query with count. I will put with count so that I should get a total number of counts also along with the results. And then I say record. I can put many things here. I can say query dot equal to, and I can check the title is equal to mango or not, then it will do that also. So there will be a lot of if else condition we can put, which we will do in the real project, not in this today class. Okay, so I'll say constant record equal to await or simple R. I will put simple R. Query dot find. So we'll say find, it will find all the records and give me that one. I'll do console.log of R is R. So we'll see what things are coming here in the get data. I will return the R in the end. Okay, now we want to call this query, get this function on the page load of this one. Okay, so I'll put the use effect here. And in the use effect, I will call this function. So this function is asynchronous function. So let's create a async function here also. Sorry, here will be async. and I'll call this function here. Now here I will call this get data and put it in some variable. I'll say const. Here also I'll use R and I'll say await get data, and I'll pass some pagination, page equal to 0, max equal to 20 per page, and we'll see what things are coming here. Okay, so what I'm doing, I created a query, I put some conditions, and I just call the query.find. Once I get the data, I return it, and I get this data here in this use effect. And once I get this data, I will put it in some state variable, and from state variable I can display it on the page. So that is the idea. Okay, so let's try to see how this looks. Okay, so see here we are getting, let me refresh it again. Okay, maybe I have to restart the app again. Sometimes this happens. Let me restart it. Okay, now you see the R is here in the get data. We are getting the count of 5, that is total records are 5, and this is the results we are getting. This each row is coming in this object. Here is the R bar, and if I go down, here is the R2. So R2 is also showing the 5 records and 5 objects. When we get this results, we will put it in some state variable. So let's create another state variable here. And this will be object. Initially the count will be 0. So I'll manually give the count equal to 0. And another field key value pair will be results. So I'll say results equal to empty array. Initially I make this empty array, but once we get data from the server, this count will also update it with the 5, and the results will also be updated with this 5 objects. So once I get the data from the server, I will say set state equal to R. So whatever data we are getting will be saved in the state variable. Now if I want to see the state variable, I will use this state. So you will see now state variable is updated with the results count equal to 5, and results we are getting here. Now I will pass this state in the flat list to display the item on the page. So to use the flat list, let's copy the code which we did in the flat list. So this is the flat list part we did. I will copy something here from here to this page. And then I will call the refresh part also in my example one. And then I will, in this handle refresh, I will copy this function also, handle refresh. And I will not call state item. I will not call state timeout. I'll call my get data again for it. If someone refresh pull back, so we'll call this handle refresh. Then I will call the flat list. In the page, I'll call a flat list. So here I will do some changes. Refresh control is fine. So the key extractor is also fine. In the data, I will put the state.results. I will not put state because state is the object of count and results. We are expecting some array. This data is expecting some array. So we will put state.results. So if you don't understand what I'm talking, you have to re-go this video. Just watch it again and try to understand what I'm trying to do. And once I get the item, here I will say item.get title. So this title will be displayed. It's saying it's already been declared. Okay, so we are display. Okay, so we are able to display these few items. Let me give the style to this flat list. Let's give some style to flat list to see what we are getting. Let me give some border width. Okay, let's give some height. Okay, so we have this height for the flat list. And also I'll copy some of the CSS from here. So you'll see inside also I can move inside also, right? And if I try to add more data, for example, oranges, record added successfully. Now I have to refresh this flat list to make it work. Okay, so generally I put a lot of components here, so I'm not able to refresh it properly. Otherwise, people used to put one flat list and it's easy to refresh. Now I'm not able to refresh. Okay, so let's try to restart it for now. Okay, again restart is giving problem. Okay, let me start it again. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting oranges here, but I'm not able to properly refresh. Maybe because of a lot of components I added, and should be it's saying what it should never be nested. Yeah, it's saying virtualized list should never be nested inside. So there is some problem in putting the flat list here. Okay, so the thing is that right now it's okay. Or yeah, right now it's okay because we're just demonstrating a lot of things. But in the real world, we will not put a lot of components like here because we have the scroll view at the top and then we have the flat list. So it's not able to properly calculate what to do. So generally when we build a real app, we will be putting flat list only or the scroll view. Right now here, two things are mixed. Maybe I can keep this out of the scroll view. Let's see. Okay, so let's put this one outside the scroll. Yeah, now I'm able to get it. So now if I add it, let's put some more data. Maybe a watermelon. Okay. I submit it. The watermelon added, and now I refresh it. Okay, we added it, but I'm not getting it. One second. Just added in the record. Okay, watermelon added. Okay, we didn't put the functionality. We didn't put the functionality of refresh part. That's the reason we are not able to get the new data, because we have to put this functionality here. Okay, so this functionality is pending. So when I pull it, I want to get the fresh data here, which is pending. So let's call this one again, get data. I'll call this again here. And I'll make this async function. So what will happen when I refresh it, I will get the data again and set the state with the new data. Let's try to add one more. Okay, now if I refresh it, you will see new data is here. Is that clear? Any questions on this one? Okay, so things are going fast kind of thing. Maybe you go through this function today again, and we will work together again on the next week, how we are doing the things, how we are displaying things. So let me go through it. Yeah, let me go through it quickly. I call the query, I put some conditions, and I get the results. Here, I created the state variable. On the use effect, I call the function to get the data. And once I get data, I put in the state, and in the flat list, I display the state. Here I'm displaying the state like this. And on the pull of this one, I call again the same function again here, so that I can get the new data. Instead of flat list, I could have used scroll view also to scroll the items there. Okay. So instead of putting the flat list, I can manually loop through the results and work on this. For example, I could have done like this. I would have checked the state.results is there, and or state.results.map, and in the map I will say arrow function, and arrow function will give me some item, and then I would have copied this part here in this one. I would have done this one, and I am removing the flat list for now. I'm commenting it, so you will see the data is coming here as full. And let's revert everything in the scroll view now. Okay, then I can go down till also. So instead of flat list, I am trying to get this in the simple scroll view, and then whole data is coming here. Okay, so either I can use the flat list, or I can manually loop through it and show the results to the user. But if I go manually for the refresh part, I need some button to refresh it. Maybe here I can put the refresh in the icon, and clicking that will get the data back. With the flat list, we get the advantage. When I pull it, it gets refreshed automatically. Okay, so let me comment this part, and let me uncomment flat list. And in the home page, let's keep this out. Okay, so we can keep this separate. Okay, that's all for today. Any questions? So what we did login, register, forgot password, log out, and we try to insert into the database, and we retrieve them from the database. So the retrieval part is little bit I did fast because it's already done in the React part. But if you don't understand, go through the video and try to understand the retrieval part. Anyhow, we'll repeat this retrieval part again next week. Okay. Okay, that's it.